Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Our Voice 360, our perspectives, our ways. I'm Chad Bumgarner, one half of the duo here. I have with me the other half, Pete Hunt.
What's good, family?
Hey, Pete, with that, let's go ahead and get into it, man.
And as always, our podcast is brought to you by Elect Graphics and Photography. Allow your visions to become reality. And CDB Consulting. Great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?
And also, guys, if there's something you want to hear us talk about or debate on here on the podcast, or if you want to give us some feedback on how you like it or what we can do to make it better, anything like that, please do not hesitate to contact us at our email address, ourvoice360 at gmail.com. That's ourvoice360 at gmail.com. All right. Today is a full house. We've got a lot to talk about and a little time to cover it in. So we're going to start out talking about the NBA and the vaccine issues that's going on with the players. We're also going to talk about R. Kelly being arrested and the turmoil that's going on with that situation. And we're going to round it out, obviously, as far as topics are concerned, with Barry Washington Jr., the young brother that was killed and murdered out in Oregon just for simply complimenting a white woman. And if this sounds familiar, that's because it is familiar. This is Emmett Till 2021. So, all right, we got our topics. Let's go ahead and get started. NBA vaccine. So, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong, but the NBA now is kind of mandating people to have vaccines, and if they don't, then they can't travel to play. They can only play home games. How does that
No,
how does that work?
no. How it works is no. There's no mandate in the
Okay.
NBA that there's no way the Players Association was going to allow the NBA to mandate the vaccine, which they wanted to do, but the Players Association was not going to allow that.
Okay, so they wanted to do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is only right. Which is only
hmm
right. You
hmm
got to give folk, you know what I'm saying, their freedom
Yeah,
to do
that's their right.
whatever.
Yeah. hmm
So, but in San Francisco and in New York, it is mandated that the rule is you have to be vaccinated to be in buildings, certain buildings. And
Okay. All right.
and in New York and in San Francisco, that's their mandate. So Andrew Wiggins, who plays for Golden State, will not be allowed to play home games.
Mm.
So 41 games for Golden State if he's not vaccinated, which is for him a $15 million loss.
And I was about to say, how
Yeah,
does that affect
and
the money? Okay.
they had a memo earlier this week that players who are not vaccinated and miss home games will not be paid.
Okay.
So that's 15 million out of his pocket. And then in New York, we're talking about the Knicks and we're talking about the Brooklyn Nets.
hmm
And we all know about Kyrie, and we don't know if he's taking the vaccine or not, but probably not, being Kyrie who he is.
hmm
Um,
Who thinks the world is
yeah,
flat?
will if he hasn't taken it, I mean, is he willing to stand on it? Um, is Andrew Wiggins willing to stand on his principles of how he believes of not getting a vaccine and losing $15 million? I mean, that's 15 mil. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but if you stand by your principles and how
I
you
can't do
feel,
nothing but respect you.
I mean,
I
it
may
is
not
what it,
like it, but I
it is.
respect
It is what it is.
you. Yeah.
But what it really boils down to is over 95% of the league is vaccinated, which
Mm.
is a great thing.
hmm
But so we're really focusing on guys who are really basically outliers, the Jonathan Isaacs and the Michael
Right.
Porter Juniors and the Bradley Beals and those guys. That's really, that's of course people are spotlighting and not spotlighting the 95% plus of guys who are vaccinated. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So
Right.
they, of course, they're going to focus on the negative of these handful of gentlemen who refuse to get the vaccine or anti-vaxxers or whatever the case may be. And my issue with it, Chad, is that I mean, if you're an NBA player of any stature, why would you not come out and say, you guys need to, everybody needs to get vaccinated?
I
There
saw
had
something.
there
I
hasn't
saw
been.
something on that. Pete. There was an interview with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because
Hmm.
he was saying the same thing, and it's funny because now it appears that Bron is in the spotlight because any other time he want to step up and talk about things we need to do as a community, but now
Hmm.
he's kind of
Hmm.
quiet when it comes to the vaccine. And then
Hmm.
they showed a clip from back in the day. I think it was a black baseball player or basketball player that was the polio shot, and he was trying to get everybody to get the polio shot. And Kareem was like that. That further plays into what I'm saying. We have a platform. We need
Hmm.
to be using our platform to educate and echo health and safety as
Hmm.
far as political concerns for our community.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
You can't have one without the other.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be
Exactly.
political if you ain't healthy.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
it's like yeah, I think LeBron was saying how it was a personal matter and everybody should do whatever they feel is right. But I'm like you kind of you kind of doing double dutch. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's like
Hmm.
you got the ropes going and you on the outside, you doing like this, trying to wait to get in. And that's what it sounds like he's doing. It's like he's in when it comes to Black Lives Matter. He's out when it comes to um the vaccine.
Hmm.
Now all of a sudden he's out of it. It's personal matter. But something
Hmm.
else, he'll jump back in and use his platform, so on and so forth. So
Hmm.
it's like the Bible said, you can't be lukewarm saints. Either you with me or against me. So
Hmm.
it's kind of this to me, it's kind of the same facet. Either you're gonna be all in or you're not. I mean,
Yeah.
because
Exactly. It for me, it's I just don't understand. I mean, I don't. I get the hesitancy about the vaccine. I understand. I get it because I was one of those hesitant people.
as was I, yes.
And then you go talk to your doctor and you go do research and then you
Hmm.
find out what's in it, this, that, and the third. I mean, you can go to the CDC website and see what's in the vaccine, all of this other stuff. So for those people who continue to say, well, I'm gonna do my own research, what other research do you need to do? And where are you getting it from?
Well, yeah, the
If you go
thing
to
is,
your doctor,
hmm
your doctor's going to tell you X, Y, and Z.
hmm
If you go to the website, it's going to tell you X, Y, and Z. If you go to medical professionals, they're going to tell you X, Y, and Z. This is what's in it. This is what some of the side effects could be. Which in any medication you take, there's going to
I'm
be
so
side
glad you
effects.
said. I'm so
There's going to be
glad you
some
said
type
that.
of side effects.
Right, right.
And what's so funny to me is a lot of these guys who's saying I'm gonna do my own research, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. You had no problem when you blow. In the case of Jonathan Isaac, you blowed your knee out. You didn't question what stuff they were putting in your body to put you to sleep to cut your knee open and fix your knee.
Right.
You didn't
You
question that.
trusted them to cut you up and
Yeah,
replace you. Yeah. It's just
yeah.
like with women having birth. You trust that doctor to help you have that baby. You trust those nurses when they put that IV in your body that it's supposed to help calm you or whatever
You don't
it's
know
supposed
what's
to do.
you
You
don't
don't
know what's in
trust.
that IV.
Right. Right.
Have you ever taken aspirin? Have you ever taken cold medicine? Have you ever eaten cereal?
Have you ever eaten out of the restaurant?
Yeah,
You'll trust those people more than
yeah,
you trust the doctors.
yeah. You see what I'm
It's
saying?
amazing. It's like sometimes you got to talk to people like that to get them to start thinking, like looking at it in its perspective.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But one thing I was going to tell you earlier is like a lot of people are hesitant because it's like when we were talking off air when I was telling you about when stupidity is echoed, then stupidity starts to look like wisdom.
Mm. Mm.
So when you got a lot of false information out there, stupidity, and it keeps getting echoed by people,
Hmm.
now to the average Joes like us, it almost looks like wisdom. And that's why it goes back to what you say. When you do your research,
Hmm.
how are you doing it? Because, like you said, if you talk to your doctor or if you talk to people in the medical field or if you look on these health websites and you get to see what's in the vaccine, it's funny you mention that because I did the very same thing. My mother has several underlying health conditions,
Hmm.
asthma and I think high blood pressure and a few other things. So when I was talking to my parents about taking the vaccine, I did exactly what you said. I went to the website and
Mm-hmm.
looked at what's in Pfizer's, what's in Moderna's, what's in J&J, and
Mm-hmm.
it gives you the breakdown of what's in it and what each one does. And so what I
Yeah.
did was I took that information, put it in a nice little Word document, sent it to my pops. I'm like, Pops, check your email. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, this is a breakdown of the three, what you call them. I said, now I know mom has a lot of underlying health conditions. So
Mm-hmm.
what you need to do is take this sheet to the doctor and be like, hey, I know you already know this, but this is the breakdown of the shots. Which one can my wife take that will give her the less amount of side effects or harmful reactions?
Mm-hmm.
Because she may be allergic to something in
Right.
one. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
it's about doing your due diligence. And but see, the thing is, Pete, the people that brush it off, say I'm gonna do my own research. What they're looking for is information to feed what they feel like they already know. They're not really
Exactly.
looking for the
Mm-hmm.
unadulterated truth. They're looking for, okay, what can I find out here to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, help what I already think I know.
Exactly.
And that's what they're looking for instead of
Exactly.
trying to find the truth. And that's harmful because my thing is you can find anything out on the internet to match what you think and feel. That
Right.
doesn't make it right and it doesn't make
Right.
it a fact.
Right.
It just backs up your line of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
which is if you're really trying to find out the truth, sometimes it's not what you're thinking. Sometimes it's something completely different. And you have to be mature enough to accept and be like, okay, I was way off base.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I was way
Mm-hmm.
off base. I need to reevaluate this because I keep seeing in different websites and different doctors and different organizations they are saying the same thing. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
off base. I need to
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm.
readjust my thinking or whatever. But yeah,
Right.
people like that are just trying to find something to reaffirm what they think they already believe is right instead of really looking for the truth.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, and it it really irritates me as far as, especially people who claim, religion as a situation why, this is why I'm not taking the vaccine, yada
Jesus is
yada
my
yada.
vaccine.
Yeah. And I mean, and Jonathan Isaac, not to just pick on him, but yeah, he's one of those guys. He's I guess he's a preacher or whatever, whatever. And and that's basically his mindset. And my thinking is this. I mean, if you are a believer of whatever God that you believe in, whether it's Allah or Jesus or whatever God you believe in, Buddha, whoever, you don't think your God is big enough to get a doctor to create a vaccine that
Pete, I
I'm
was
just
so hoping
saying.
you would say that because we talked about that last week. I believe it is. So God did make doctors, scientists for a reason.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, and if you believe in religion or whatever you believe in, or whatever you follow, whatever doctrine you follow,
Hmm.
if you are a believer in that, do you not think your higher power,
Mm.
can develop a vaccine to, these people developed other vaccines that's eradicated polio and other diseases. I mean, you don't. Well, it was too quick. Okay, but the biggest
There's an answer for that. There's an answer for that.
the biggest deterrent to get to vaccines is funding. So when this popped off and the whole world put their money together, that's your funding right there.
And see, that's what I wanted to touch on because I talked
Excuse
to
me.
a healthcare professional who's been in
Mhm.
healthcare for 25 years, and she was saying the reason why people believe it came so quick is because this was the first time where a vaccine was worked on by multiple entities at the same time.
Mhm.
Usually, when a vaccine is being worked on, it's being worked on by a private company with
Mhm.
private funds or government funds, but it's
Right.
one entity. So that's
Mhm.
why it takes years. This
Mhm.
one came about, and because you had entities all over the world
Yeah.
working on this one vaccine,
Mhm.
connecting, working together, having
Mhm.
conferences. This is what we found out. Well, this is what we found out.
Exactly.
That's how it came across so quickly in the eyes
Mhm.
of the public. And
Mhm.
also, it had to be done on a global scale because this thing was
It's a
running through the
pandemic.
country like water.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Mhm.
laying people out left and right. And the
Mhm.
scary thing about it was you didn't know how. it didn't have a pattern. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be healthy and die instantly. You could be so unhealthy and have asymptomatic symptoms. So you didn't know how it was going to affect you. It just by person to person. To me, that was the scariest thing I had ever seen, because usually, you know, viruses have patterns. This one did. It just depended on
how it felt that day.
Yeah.
How it felt that day and how it reacted to your body.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how I had to explain it to my daughters. I'm like, this virus is just like any other drug in my eyes. You know, you can get 10 people to smoke marijuana and it does nothing to them. And you can get that 11th to smoke it and it gives all kind of negative side effects. It just depends on your DNA makeup. You can't look at everybody else and think, oh, well, they fine, I'll be all right. You don't know that. And why would you risk that? Now, I'm just using marijuana as an example, but I'm just saying any drug, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to be careful with this stuff, man, because you don't know how it's going to play out with your DNA, with your body. It's just it's crazy. But yeah, that was worked on by the masses, man, to get a handle on it and to get something readily available for the people. And it's like that again comes along with doing your research, talking to educated people in that field. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, just talking to educated people who know what they're talking about, know the backstory.
And it's sad that it's become basically a political tool. A vaccine
on purpose. Yeah.
A vaccine has become a political tool
instead of a health issue.
Instead of this being a human health, human rights issue, it's become political. So now it's on the situation where if you're on this side, this is what we believe, and if you're on this side, this is what we're believe. Nah.
Right.
I mean, COVID is killing folk. Now over 700,000 people have died in the U.S. alone. So, I mean, this is a health crisis. But again, I mean, you know, people can do what they want to do. They have the free will to do that, to do what, take it or not take it, which is, you know, is a person's right. But in the case of the NBA and these players, the players that's being spotlighted as not taking the vaccine, it's really, I'm wondering what's your real mindset and what's your real thinking. And if you don't want to take it, hey, so be it. But you're going to suffer the consequences in the long run because of, you know, you may lose 15 million, like Andrew Wiggins is going to lose if he doesn't get the vaccine.
Or even worse, man, you could lose your life if you contract it.
Exactly, or affect somebody else's. Affect somebody else. But again, you know, it's people's, you know, right to do whatever they want to do, and if you choose not to take it, so be it. It is what it is.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But again, the focus to me from the media should be on the 95% or more who has taken the vaccine.
I agree, because I don't like the fact that they're picking on the 5% that are not, because like you said, this is America. You have the right to not take the vaccine. That's fine. But I feel like it's borderline bullying or picking on the 5% that hasn't taken it, trying to pressure them into taking it. These are adults. These are adults. They can do, like you said, they can do the research just like everybody else does. And then, you know, if there's a negative situation that becomes of this because you didn't take the vaccine, it is what it is. That was your choice. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, as far as the media, don't highlight them and pick at them and try to bully them because they didn't take it. I mean, that doesn't help the situation at all. You just want, to me, it's just like you just want to continue to encourage and educate and just hope, you know, that they come around. And if not, then, like I said, it was their decision. That's what they wanted to do. You just, you know, you keep moving. It is what it is, but don't highlight it.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and jump into the next topic, Pico. We like I said, we got a lot to cover. So we just talked about the NBA vaccine issue. So now we're gonna go into R. Kelly. Kales, the Pied Piper,
Mm. He tried to tell y'all. He was telling y'all for years
He did, and
what he
people
was
didn't.
about.
Yeah,
Anybody name themselves the Pied Piper, and you know the story of the Pied Piper and what the
yeah,
how the Pied Piper got down.
led the
So
kid.
you know
Yeah,
he would telling you in his songs what he was about.
he
But
did.
anyway,
He did.
we was stepping in the name of love and 12 playing
What?
and and all of that.
Hey,
We was
look,
all
Pete.
doing it.
Look,
We
Pete.
was all
Yes, I was about to say. I know I might catch some backlash, and it's no
ain't no
disrespect to the
backlash.
victims out there. Ain't no
Ain't no
disrespect to the
backlash.
victims, but y'all cannot front on Kelly's genius when it comes to music. You can't front. I was talking to a buddy of mine. I was like, "Well, looks like we can't play R. Kelly." He said, "Man, bump that. People still play Michael Jackson. People still play Elvis Presley. They
Mm.
was messing with little kids." I was like, "Wow, you just said that." He's like, "Yeah." Yeah. I mean, but he I would love to see him in a versus, but let's not get off track.
Wow. We trying to put this man in the verses. Wow. That's funny.
Well, he was in the versus, versus the state of New York and
Yeah,
lost.
yeah, 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 yeah. For real. And lost.
But yeah,
Big
R.
time.
Kelly, he's been found guilty of racketeering and sex
Mm,
trafficking related to violations of the Mann Act. The jury found him guilty of also using threatening force to obtain sexual services from minors. Of course, in case you didn't know, the trial started back in August up in New York, and they had a series of people come in and testify. The
mm-hmm.
girls,
Yep.
some of his former staff,
Mm-hmm.
and the prosecutor said that Kelly was a predator.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Mm-hmm.
used his power and notoriety to target, exploit, groom boys, and I didn't even know he was messing with boys. They say he was messing with boys too. Boys and girls for sexual pleasure. They also alleged he ran an enterprise where his employees would provide the singer with girls. Now, there's one family allegedly that sold their daughter to R. Kelly because they didn't see any value in her, which is very sickening to me as people would do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but anyway, I'm not gonna run down the whole entire article, but that's the gist of it. He was found guilty, and some of the girls that was defending him came out later and testified against him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I know Gail had an interview with one of the girls that did just that, and but it was to me it's really sickening. It's a disease that this brother has, but it was fostered, it was nurtured the
Mm-hmm.
whole time he was the man. So
Mm-hmm.
my thing is,
And
like I
that's
was
how it usually
saying
happens.
before, yeah, that like, and I was telling you before, I think it was you I was talking to, Pete. Well, I was like, no, it was a buddy of mine. I said, if he goes down, there should be more arrests because he had a enterprise around him, which is
Yeah.
why we were talking about
Yeah.
he's
He
gonna
got
start singing, so
yeah,
start snitching.
he got hit with the RICO.
Yeah,
He got hit. Yeah, they hit him with the RICO.
yeah,
So I mean, right, they got him for racketeering.
yeah, and
So
it
yeah,
was it was some
they put the RICO law on Kales. So yeah, it I mean, for years and years and years, of course, we heard, I mean, we can take it back to Aaliyah in that
mm,
situation. And I mean, he gave us breadcrumbs and all kind of things. And he was telling us he was the Pied Piper. Every 3 words in every song, he was the Pied Piper.
Pete. You
And
know
this
what? Looking
and
back,
bruh,
hindsight is always 2020, man. Because
I'm
my
trying to
thing
tell
is,
you.
I think he knew after a time that he was in trouble or he was sick. He couldn't come out and say it. But now looking back at some of the, like you said, the breadcrumbs in his music is like, I'm telling y'all, I got a problem. I don't know how to stop it.
I'm telling you, look, I'm the Pied Piper of R&B. Who wants to be the Pied Piper if you know the story of the Pied Piper?
And we danced along with it. We were like,
And
yeah.
were we not in the club?
What?
That's
Whoa.
and I'm trying look, and it was so blatant what he was doing.
Yeah.
And if you listen to a lot of the songs that we played back in the day, he had a flute in the songs. Hindsight 2020, Chad.
He did. He did.
What the
He
Pied
did.
Piper play?
The flute.
He
He sure
played the
did.
flute
Yeah.
to
He
get
tried to
them
told us.
to get them children.
He tried to told us.
Bruh, he was telling us every third song he dropped. He was telling us.
Yeah.
And I mean, all kidding aside, man, it's a sad situation.
It is very sad.
It's a bad because this grown man for years and years and years took advantage of young people,
Mm-hmm.
underage people, and people not only allowed him to do it, but like you said, Chad, fostered an environment,
Mm-hmm.
brought him children. And they're going to be more arrests for sure. There's going to be some parents arrested.
And I'm glad you said that, because I was sitting here looking at this thing. I'm like, this man did not create this all on his own. He had a team. And what about how do you let your child just go off with a grown multi-platinum superstar?
You're gone.
And you got a 16, 14, 16-year-old daughter, and you just gonna say, here, can you make her the next star? Here, take her.
And then he cutting you a check on the back end.
Right. Because like he got him said, when the money was flowing, nobody said nothing.
Yeah. When the money
a couple years ago when he let out that 8-minute song, he told it all.
Which the closet song?
No. This was after all the allegations and stuff. It was like an 8 to 10 minute song.
Okay.
Because he was confessing a lot of stuff.
Okay. I must have missed that one.
Yeah, you missed that one. I mean, but he let it all out. It was like he was like, I've had enough. I'm gonna really tell it. Because when I was paying this money, when I was on top of my game, see, the thing is, it's just like with winning. Winning covers a lot of losses, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People may not be jiving right on the team, or little things might be messing up, but as long as you winning, that covers up everything. But when you start losing, everything gets exposed.
Yep.
And that's what happened when he wasn't on top of his game anymore, and the money was drying up, and he couldn't read, so everybody was taking advantage of him. He ain't really had no money. Now everybody want to come out and call him a predator. Well, like D.L. Hughley, he been doing this. Nobody said nothing about this for years.
Yeah, we knew back at the time of Aaliyah. We knew, not long after 12 play, we knew what was going on.
I'm glad you said that.
We knew what R. Kelly was about.
In one of the articles, they were saying how one of R. Kelly's people on his team had bribed a government official to change Aaliyah's birth certificate to make her legal to get married.
Bruh, we been knew. We been knew what R. Kelly was about. And we just kept stepping in the name of love and all of that. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and I hate it for his victims, and I pray for his victims, but this was nothing new. Especially, I mean, some people may be shocked and surprised, but the community, the family, we knew what was going on.
Oh yeah, this was a topic in the barbershops for years, and I'm pretty sure hair salons too. But it's amazing how we know stuff before everybody else. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was a situation where back in the way back in the day, the older folk would somebody get pregnant and they send her down south.
Yes, sir. Yeah, she would disappear.
Yeah. Where Tasha at? She down there with her grandma down there in Georgia. She down there. They done sent her down south.
That's right. Real quick.
But everybody knew why Tasha was sent down south.
Why she was sent down south, yeah.
But just didn't nobody talk about it. This is the same situation. We knew what R. Kelly was doing, but
as long as he kept putting out hits.
He's making these hits.
We believe everybody to sleep.
Yeah. We believe we can fly.
We got babies in pre-K singing that song for graduation. How do I know? Ask me how I know. Cause my youngest was in pre-K, and what was they little theme song? I believe I can fly. Yes. And them black women, yes, baby, say I believe I can. Yes, that's my baby. That's my grandbaby. What? He put them hits out. I'm not gonna front on him. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna front on him. But yeah, he was a predator, and he had help becoming a predator and staying a predator for so many years. And I really feel like you said, more arrests need to be made with the parents,
for sure.
With the staff. Sure. I'm pretty sure the staff cut a deal. The former staff cut a deal before they testified, but they should still get some kind of repercussion because these are kids, man.
Yeah, at the time. Yeah, at the
At,
time,
at the
these kids.
time, at the
At the time,
time, these are
kids. Yeah,
kids. I mean,
yeah.
did anybody stop and think, oh my God, what would I have done if somebody got my kid like this?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Because it's hard
The
to
rent
talk
due.
to a 16, 17-year-old saying, baby, this ain't right. You don't need to do this. They're not
Mm-mm.
thinking that. They thinking they were R. Kelly about to blow up. They're not hit. You a hater. You
Mm-hmm.
just hating on me because I'm with R. You know what I'm saying? 16,
Mm-hmm.
17-year-old mind.
Yeah.
It's daggum near impossible to talk them out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And R knew this. R knew this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, where are the parents? I don't understand. And the staff, how could you be so selfish? Because I know what it was. They didn't want to say anything because they didn't want to mess up that gravy train, the money.
Yeah, they ain't want to mess up that money. They don't mess up that money.
They didn't want to mess up the
I
money.
don't know them
So
kids.
they just
I
turned
don't
a
know them
blind eye
kids. I ain't
and
gonna
they
mess
just
up.
kept doing it. Right.
Yeah, I don't know them kids. They ain't mine. So I mean,
Ain't nobody gonna miss them no way.
yeah. So yeah, and now they're saying that when I think they're going to sentence him sometime next year is going to be the sentencing, and he's looking upwards to 100 years
Mm-hmm.
in prison. And now the story has come out that now he said that he has information on other artists, big time artists, that he may divulge some information to the feds about them
To ease up some of that time.
to eat. Probably, I mean, look, we caught when when the feds got me, he got all of us.
Yeah. And if I was him, I'd be in the on TV. I didn't get caught. We got caught.
Get out them bushes.
Right.
They got us. Come out them bushes. They got us both. They got us. They got
Right.
us. They got us.
Right. He gonna be like who was the Bernie man talking about?
Your Honor.
Ooh.
Ooh, exactly. Your Honor.
Then I'm telling them everybody.
I'm telling on everybody.
Mm.
What's your name, new fool?
Instead of the Pied Piper, he gonna be the canary.
I'm trying to tell you.
Hey, this gonna be his best song ever.
He geared to flip it, Chad. He geared to flip that thing. He geared to tell him a lot of people nervous right now.
He finna put the keys in the ignition.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you, buddy.
Boy, oh boy. But yeah, I do.
Aura, man. But yeah, it's just. I mean,
do pray for the victims because it's gonna take some years of therapy to, really
exactly.
get them, back where they need to be psychologically, emotionally, all of that. So yeah. So all right. So let's go ahead and round the third base. We're now going to talk about the brother out in Oregon, Barry Washington Jr. is his name. The Oregon man who was fatally shot because he spoke to a gentleman's girlfriend. He did not know that at the time because she was by herself.
Mm-hmm.
But the man that did the shooting, the white man, was named Mackenzie Cranston, 27-year-old white man. He was charged on 6 charges in connection to the shooting last month of 22-year-old Barry Washington Jr., a black man. The District County announced the news, I think, Thursday. And so basically, I'm not going to read the article, but basically what happened was they were all at a bar. Okay, the brother, Barry, walked up to this white lady and complimented her, said, you look nice or whatever. He basically complimented her in a respectful manner. And she replied back, it was all good. She was like, I'm flattered, but, I'm in a relationship. And he was like, bet, again, folks, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole article, but it's like, all right, bet. So the boyfriend steps up and he didn't like what he saw and heard. So he had words with the brother, Barry, and then Barry turned around and had words back with Cranston, the white guy. So they got to pushing and shoving a little bit, and then it calmed down. But obviously that wasn't enough for Cranston, the white guy, because he pulls a gun out of his waistband and he shoots the brother and kills him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while the brother's laying there, it is my understanding that nobody called the cops. Nobody moved to help the brother. He just lay there.
Laughing and joking.
What's your word, Pete? Laughing and what? Kikiing. Yeah, and let's be clear. Folks, I did not laugh at the brother. I was laughing at how Pete said Kiki, and that's his line.
And sniggling. Yeah,
as my grandma used to say.
And carrying on, as my grandma used to say.
So, of course, people wanted him, Cranston, the shooter,
Mm-hmm.
charged for a hate crime, but
Right.
the detective is saying there's not enough indisputable evidence,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then he said if we obtain sufficient evidence to prove that the shooting was at least partially motivated by race, we will go back to that grand jury and ask them to add the charge.
Right.
So, but right now he's saying they don't have enough proof to say, hey, this was a hate crime. But now, if
Okay.
we go back into time, way back,
Mm-hmm.
way back into time, to a
Mm-hmm.
brother named Emmett Till when he was walking down the street and he whistled, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he didn't.
Okay, what did he do?
Well, you know, a few years back, the white woman who, because people speak of Emmett Till like it was like 1865 or something.
Right,
Emmett Till was not that long ago.
right. Wasn't it in the 60s?
Yeah, 50s or 60s, something like that.
50s, okay.
Yeah. Emmett Till, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But Emmett Till, she said on her deathbed, never whistled at her.
Okay, so
She
he actually
confessed.
never. Okay.
Yeah, she confessed that she made the whole story up on her deathbed. That she made the whole story up about Emmett Till. And I guess she was trying to get into heaven. I guess. It's kind of hard to get into heaven when you got that burden on your chest where you done lied and got a man killed. You done got a child killed.
Right, and you
done got a
live a
child
good
killed.
long life, and you're gonna wait to minutes before your death to ease your burden.
Yeah. But yeah, Emmett Till, she confessed that Emmett Till never whistled at her at all. But you are right, Chad. This is Emmett Till situation in 2021.
2021, all over.
Exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. So.
And it's amazing how people know history but don't know history.
Right.
And I hear a lot of people all the time. It's not my job to educate you on the history of Black folks. Do your research. It's out there on the internet. It's out there.
Yeah. Let me tell you what the actual date was.
Oh, please. Yes.
August. Emmett Till died August 28, 1955. 1955, people. That was not long ago.
It was not. It was not.
And see, and people speak of like I said, people speak of Emmett Till as if like it was something that happened like during slavery or something to that effect. 1955 is when this happened, and when Emmett Till was killed as a teenager. But yeah, in this situation, Chad, as I end every podcast that we do, you have to be able to protect yourself. And I'm not saying that this young brother should have been brandishing a weapon or anything like that of that sort. I'm not even talking about weapons. I'm talking about protecting yourself around your surroundings and who you surround yourself with. There's also a protection in that.
That's true.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know who was at this bar or who was attending this bar or function or whatever was going on.
Yeah, was he solo? Was somebody with him? I don't know.
But obviously, the company that he was in cared nothing about him.
Right. Which leads me to believe, Pete, that he was probably solo. Maybe he was bar hopping like the young cats do on the weekends or whatever. And then I'm looking at the fact that this is out in Oregon. And I'm like, I don't want to read into that because I don't want to misinterpret anything. But I agree with you. You got to be careful with the company you keep, and also always be aware. I teach my kids this all the time. No matter where you are, always be aware of your surroundings.
Yes, sir.
Always.
My
heart goes out to this brother and his mom and the rest of his family because this was a senseless act. Maybe I can understand the arguing back and forth. Maybe the boyfriend was jealous. You got words. You said your piece. He said his piece.
And yeah, keep it
You go
moving.
your way.
Keep it pushing. Keep it
Keep it
pushing. Yeah.
moving. Right.
Yeah.
But to take it to another level,
Mm-hmm.
that was truly uncalled for. And to me, it leads me to believe that it was intentional. Like he just had something to prove. Like he felt he
Yeah.
had
Oh yeah,
something to prove.
it was definitely intentional because if it as the article I read said that, it had calmed down and they had gone their separate ways. The
Right.
guy went this way and Barry went that way. You know what I'm saying? Everything was cool. And then,
But
he shoots him. So it was definitely intentional. And
but
I
see, he
mean,
broke the cardinal rule because I remember growing up, my dad always taught me in a fight, you never turn your back
never,
on your opponent.
never, always
You
on a swivel
but
head.
you don't ever
I,
turn.
Chad, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. After that popped off, and like I said, I don't know the implications of what happened after he got shot. Kind of lets you read between the lines and see what company he was
Environment
in,
he was in, yeah.
the environment he was in. If you read
Mhm.
between the lines of the article, the environment, what I would have done after the altercation, the pushing, the shoving, the back and forth, the talking. I grab my keys and my coat.
Yeah.
I get in the car and I head to the crib.
Out of bounds. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
you bounce. Because obviously, if we look at the end result, nobody in the situation gave a hoot, gave a darn about young Barry Washington Jr.
Right.
Cared nothing
Yeah.
about him. So again, be careful of the company you keep and who you claim to be friends with.
Right.
Or
Right.
you befriend, I should say. So in that situation, you get your stuff and you bounce. At this point, ain't no need to play tough guy.
Mm-mm.
There's no need. What do you have to prove?
Right.
What do you have to prove? We've done our pushing and shoving. We did our little talking, yakking back and forth. Okay, cool. It's over. It's done. It's time for me to head to the crib. But it is what it is, and like I said, I hate it for his family, his mother. It's just a sad situation, and history has a sad way of repeating itself.
It does.
Yep.
It does. And I think more people need to do more studying of history so that they can understand, because evidently somebody's studying.
Yep. Because
studying.
because obviously if you really look at it in its totality, the white guy was really got a slap on the wrist actually, because he was first charged with just second degree manslaughter.
Right. And I think if it wasn't for the outcry,
all this other stuff didn't come until he got arrested again after the public outcry, after it became national news.
Right.
Then they had to go back and arrest him. Like, oh dang, they done found us out. So now,
right, it done came out.
So now we have to do it how we should have done it to begin with.
This is Oregon, though. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Somebody let the kid out of the bag, but see, that's the thing with social media, man. Because I remember watching this one lady on there really blowing this thing up, and she was like, nobody's talking on this on any platforms, and she just broke down the whole story.
Yeah, it was on TikTok. It was on TikTok, and she ran the whole story down.
Yep.
And then it became national. It became national news.
It did, and it's like this social media thing is something else, boy, because it'll bring anything and everything to light.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the days of old where you can hide stuff. We'll throw this up under the rug and put this cat up under jail and let him rot there and nobody will know about him. Nah, it's not that case anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, and he would have probably not even have been even in the trial if they'd have put him up on just second degree manslaughter charge. He'd probably would have got off.
Mm-hmm.
But now with this sister bringing out this on TikTok, and it's become a national story now. Now you have to put charges on this dude because
the spotlight is on.
Now we know the story.
Right.
Now we know how it went down. Now we know after he shoots him, the girlfriend laughs and everybody around him laughs and don't get him no help and don't call the paramedics and don't call the police and all of this other stuff. So, wow. Now
you know what? That reminds me. Why weren't there any other charges with the other people around? You sat there and saw it happen. You watched this man die, and you didn't call the police. You didn't call the ambulance.
I'm just saying. I mean, the girlfriend ain't been charged, nothing. She's sitting there laughing, kikiing, sniggling, kind of happy that maybe happy that it happened. Again, people, um, be careful of your surroundings and protect yourself at all times, please. Please do, and don't find yourself in a situation where you are by yourself.
Yeah,
literally by yourself.
By yourself.
So, like again, prayers for his family, prayers for his mother. I mean, it's just a sad situation, and let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson of walk away.
How to move. Yeah, you got to learn how to move.
How to navigate. How to walk away. This brother was young. He didn't understand. He didn't have nobody in his life to tell him, show him how to navigate the world.
He ain't even started 22. He hadn't even started living.
That's what I'm saying. And but see, he didn't have nobody. It's obviously he had nobody in his life to show him how to move, how to avoid this and avoid that, and have your head on a swivel, and don't turn your back on.
Especially at the altercation.
Yeah, never turn. Yeah. If you have to stay there, back up against the wall. See them coming.
So you can see everything.
I see everything. That's why I don't. When pre-pandemic, my wife and I would go out. I don't sit with my back
facing the door. I teach my kids that all the time. And I used to call it the player rule 101. When you out, you don't never sit with your back facing the door.
You never face the door. You face the door. Because first of all, I'm protecting my wife off the rip. Because if something coming, I'm going to see it, and she's the first person I'm protecting.
Exactly.
You never sit with your back as a man. That's just my rule and the rule my father taught me. You never as a man sit with your back to the door. Because anything can pop off. You never another rule my father taught me. You never let your woman, if you walking down the sidewalk.
Oh, I was about to go there. I was just about to go there. Yes.
Walk on the outside.
You walk on the outside.
Your woman stays on the inside.
That's right.
Because you are the protector, and you're supposed to protect your woman. So if a car swerve and hit the curb, it's gonna hit you, and your woman got a chance to run. That's man law.
That's man law.
Man law 101.
And you know what? I taught my girls that, and it's funny because my oldest was doing the very same thing, and she did that. She pushed him to the outside. He said, "Why you got me on?" You're supposed to walk on the outside, and I'm supposed to walk on the inside. He didn't understand. He didn't know. Because so when he got back, he wasn't taught.
He wasn't taught, and that's sad. That's sad. But that's man law. That's just man laws. That's just things that when you got men in your life to that and possibly he didn't have an uncle or a father or whoever, brother, I mean, good friend, whatever, didn't give him the rules of how to
give him the guidance, the
guidance and how to move in certain situations. But I mean, Chad, we're two of the lucky few who still have our fathers in our lives, and are very, very, influential in our lives. So I mean, we count that as a blessing,
indeed.
And because we were taught those things. Everybody doesn't have that, in their life. They don't have a father or uncle or big brother or whatever,
right?
To teach them those things. And he found himself in a situation where he was not taught how to move, how to navigate in certain situations. And
sadly, it costed him his life.
And it cost him his life. And I hate it for that young brother. I hate it for that young brother. And I mean, it's just a sad situation. I hope this dude gets all the time he deserves.
Indeed.
Which is a lot.
Yeah. Lock his behind up for a long time and let him think about how funny it is now to take a life over something so trivial.
Something so trivial.
You had your words with that man. Let that be that. He understood after that little skirmish. He understood that was your girl. You should have left it at that.
Leave it at that. Leave it at that.
No, but you had to go the extra mile. So, I hope he does get time so he can sit down and have plenty of time to think about his actions and what he did.
And then really and by that, the perpetrator of the killing, the shooter, that if you look at the situation and how confident he was in that situation against the brother That lets you know the company that was in that bar. Because okay, if you
They
don't
was
get
all on the same page.
if you don't get that underlying message I'm giving you, okay.
Jewel dropped.
Jules had I just dropped a jewel on you. If you didn't catch it, I mean,
It's
ask
on you.
somebody.
Go back and play it. Go
Yeah.
back and watch the video.
Rewatch it again. That you because you don't you're not that boastful and ready to fight over something that trivial if you don't have a battery in your back and you don't have backing in the situation, and you're not the person who has the numbers, I should say. You don't if you don't have the upper hand in the situation when it comes to numbers, you're not going to be that boastful and that braggadocious and that, you know what I'm saying? You're going to talk about it. You may get a little heated or whatever, but you're not going to ever go to that point.
You know what? I'm going to give you a quick story because we getting close to time, and we still got to do the Black Inventor and the book and inspirational Bible quote or whatever. But my high school year, we were out. I'm from Hickory, North Carolina, as you know, Pete, but I'm just talking to the listeners and viewers.
Yeah.
And I had a best friend growing up. I will not reveal the name because he may not want me to talk about this. But when you talk about environments, this is. So we're out in rural Hickory, outside of Hickory.
Okay.
Where
I know
it's
where you're going with it.
Cow pastures, big open areas. And my best friend went to another high school. I didn't go to this high school, but that Friday night after a ball game, they had a bonfire out in the open field where all the kids were hanging out. So me and my boy, we roll out there. Needless to say, we were the only two that looked like us out there. But these were all his friends. He went to school. Everybody knew the cat. I'm thinking, okay, we cool. This was my eye opener. You know what I'm saying? As a high schooler. So we're out there and we're having a good time. Of course, people are drinking. I wasn't drinking at the time. I didn't start till college, but that's neither here nor there. So people out there drinking and, everybody feeling good. Words are starting to flow. And yeah. And so I think a young man bumped into me from the back. He had a beer can in his hand and drinking. And I'm like, whoa, man, calm down, school. And get your hands off me, N-word. F you, N-word. I'm like, wait a minute. Who do you think you're talking to? So my boy turns around, my best friend, he turned around, hey, what's going on? I was like, yo, he just bumped into him. I told him it was cool, but then he starts cussing me out. And so my best friend said, hey, man, you need to go ahead and go. F you too, N-word. So now it's like, wait a minute. Okay. So we didn't let that slide. That's just one of them things in my day. You don't let that slide. Even though we were the only two there, and it was over 100 people there, we're not going to let this slide.
We can't let that happen.
So it wound up being a battle royal. Me and my best friend are back to back, literally, and we fighting. We fighting. Then I don't know how the other friend found out, but if my memory serves me correctly, he pulls up. He went to another rival school. He pulls up. He a brother. He pulls up. I guess my best friend reached out to him. I don't know. But he pulls up. He sees what's going on. He runs in there. He throwing people right and left, grabbing us, getting us out of there. Because it was only a matter of time before we got tired. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, they going to kill. They going to kill these boys. So he come in there grabbing people. And he grabs me and my best friend. And he's like dragging us out. We still fighting while we getting dragged out. You know what I'm saying? And then we all rolled to my best friend's house. And it's about 1 or 2 in the morning. So his mom gets up and she cussing us out. What were y'all thinking being out there with all that? Did you know what could have happened? You could have been lynched. You could have been da-da-da-da-da. You could have been. And, I got a busted lip. My man got a busted lip, black eye. But I just wanted to share that story because when you talk about you need to understand, that was my eye opener. Right then was my eye opener. That's the only second time in my life I've ever told that story. But I remember it like it was yesterday.
I'm sure you do.
It was a survival fight. It was a life and death. We were back to back. Like, if we going down, y'all gonna know we was here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, like to piggyback on your point, always be aware of where you are, who you are with, and make sure the person that you are with really has your back. Because you can be in a room full of people and still be alone.
Yes, sir.
You need to know that when you rolling with somebody or a group of people, they are having your back and fight, right? And
make sure they're your people,
back. Right? Right.
Make sure they're your
Make
people.
sure they're your people. Yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because I think it played very well with your
Hmm.
sentiments about the pearl dropping about know your surroundings and know
Know
who
your
you with.
surroundings, man. Know your
Anything can
surroundings.
happen. You need to make sure you're prepared. Like you said, always be prepared.
Always be prepared, man. Always.
So, all right, let's jump into the Black Inventor of the Week, folks. I'm excited about this because it's in my line of work, IT. But this brother is super dope. His name is Philip Emeagwali, Emeagwali. He's a Nigerian American computer engineer, or computer scientist, excuse me. He achieved computing breakthroughs that helped lead to the development of the internet. His work
Wow.
was simultaneous, excuse me, his work with simultaneous calculations on connected microprocessors earned him a Gordon Bell Prize, considered the Nobel Prize of Computing. Now, he was born and raised in Nigeria.
Hmm.
He's the oldest of 9 kids. There was I think he was born in 50. Yeah, he was born in 54. Grew up there pretty much. His family was part of the Igbo tribe,
Hmm.
IGBO. Okay, so there was a war in 68 or 69 that broke out in Nigeria, and he wound up getting drafted. His family lived in like a refugee camp for a while. By the time he was in high school, I'm trying to go through it, everybody. I don't want to read it word for word. By the time he was in high school, he was so dope with numbers that his nickname was Calculus.
Hey,
His
there it
nickname was
was.
Calculus. So he traveled to in 74. He graduated, traveled to you know uh the States, excuse me, in 74 and attended Oregon State University. Went to Oregon. Uh, so he got his degree in mathematics, and then he went on to a couple other schools and got 2 or 3 other degrees in computing. Um, Initially, he worked on the oil discovery problem using a supercomputer. However, he decided it was more efficient to use thousands of widely distributed microprocessors to do his calculations instead of tying up 8 expensive computers. So what he did was he discovered an unused computer over in Los Alamos National Laboratory, formerly used to simulate nuclear explosions. It was dubbed the connection machine. So what he
Hmm.
did was he began hooking up over 60,000 microprocessors.
Wow.
Ultimately, the connection machine, programmed remotely from his apartment in Ann Arbor, Michigan, that ran more than 3.1 billion calculations per second and
Good
correctly
gracious.
identified the amount of oil in a simulated reservoir. The computing the computing speed was faster than that achieved by a crazed supercomputer. So ultimately, this brother was credited for creating the world's first supercomputer.
Wow.
Okay, his legacy, Emeagwali's work earned him the Institute of Electronics and Electrical Engineers Gordon Bell Prize in '89, considered the Nobel Peace Prize of Computing. Like I said,
Hmm.
he continues to work on computing problems, including models to describe and predict weather, and he has earned more than 100 honors for his breakthrough achievements. Emeagwali is one of the most important prominent inventors of the 20th century. Dr. Philip Emeagwali, the founder or the creator of the supercomputer. Mr. Cap,
And I'd like to end that with
please do, my
the
brother.
famous 3 words that I use every week when we do this. We
Uh-huh.
are great.
My Lord.
We are great. We
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 are.
we are a great people.
Mm-hmm.
This world does not do the things that it does. This world does not, whether it's science, technology, math, entertainment, whatever it may be, food.
Mm.
This world does not move without us. We are great. Oh
And
man.
I keep having to say, no, I don't keep having to. I want to keep saying this. because I want our readers to know and understand this is not a racist podcast. This is not a racist situation. We are telling news events as they happen and giving our opinions and our views on how we see things from a Black perspective. And you need to understand that. That's how we can move better, because obviously we understand the mainstream's way of thinking, way of thought, and how they move, because every time we turn on the TV, every time we turn on the radio, any media outlet, we hear you.
Yep.
So this is our way to give you the opportunity to hear us and hear about us. It's just that plain and simple. I mean, a lot of this stuff should be in the history books too, American history books, but it's not. So if we don't do it, if Pete and I don't do it, we can't sit here and just assume or trust that someone else will. Exactly. We've got to highlight our people any and every way we can. It has to be known. Otherwise, it stays hidden, and you know, for lack of knowledge, your people will perish.
There you go.
I don't want us to perish. Not like that. Not for lack of knowledge.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, Brother Emegwali, we salute you. We thank you for your service, and countless other African Americans that we will find and highlight and make sure that they get their just due, at least on this podcast.
Yes, sir.
And so, Pete, anything before I do the Bible quote or verse of the week?
Book of the week. Our book of the week is by the great, fantastic author Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Okay.
Between the World and Me, which is a book about Ta-Nehisi, a letter from Ta-Nehisi to his son about growing up being Black in America.
Wow.
Between the World and Me by the great author Ta-Nehisi Coates. Please pick it up. It's a very good read. Not a long book. I think it's like 170 some pages. So that's not a long read at all.
Right.
But it's a very good read, and Ta-Nehisi is one of the greats that we have out here in this literary world right now. He is doing very big things. So again, the book is Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
And there you have it, folks. Ta-Nehisi Coates, Between the World and Me. Please check it out. We try to give you books that will enlighten you and enrich your life and your mind. Indeed. All right, so here's the Bible verse quote of the week. We're coming from the book of John, chapter 15, verse 5. And it reads, I am the vine and you are the branches. If a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Take stock of your life. What are you doing? Are you doing something? Because if you're not, you might need to check your connection with Christ. If a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Are you bearing fruit? If he is apart from me, you can do nothing. So if you're stuck in a rut, you can't seem to get going, you need to check your connectivity to the higher source and see what the status is. Is it disconnected? Did you pay your bill this month?
How many bars you got?
Right. Where are you located? You might need to get somewhere where you can get some bars. Maybe you're in the wrong environment.
Hey.
Maybe you're in the wrong environment. You can't get connected. Maybe you're too distracted with BS. Too much foolishness in your life. You need to cut the clutter so you can get that connection. Just something to think about. No judgment here. I'm going through it myself. I'm just saying, get yourself together if you're not. And last but not least, I got to leave y'all with my quote from the infamous Mr. Marcus Garvey. Never forget that intelligence rules the world and ignorance carries the burden. Therefore, remove yourself as far as possible from ignorance and seek as far as possible to be intelligent.
There it is. There it is.
Nothing to say after that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Ourvoice 360, our perspectives, our ways. Be blessed. Stay safe. We out.
Peace.